people, welcome to another episode of my Thumbprint on turning 50. Today we have a special guest. Full name, please.
Laurie.
Okay. She was gifted with one name. A bit like Prince and all those other
That's
famous
it.
people.
Laurie Adamek.
Okay, excellent. You don't want to go on about the... No, Laurie Adamek.
Floppo? Is that
Correct.
what you're getting at?
In case you don't know, Laurie, or Flo as I like to call her, is my sister. My older sister. I know it's hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I look like I'm older, but I've had to put up with her crap. So,
Oh.
anyway, what we're going to do is basically just have a chat today. Just talk about things that make Flo flow.
Uh-oh.
See what I did there? So let's just start from early childhood. You were born...
I was born in Paris in 1967.
No.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry. Yeah, 1967. Yep. What's the
Um,
first thing you saw when you came out? Let's move on. I didn't know.
I've repressed that till now.
I didn't know if you were facing up or down, so I was just... Go. That's irrelevant.
What else did you want to know?
Where were you born? Paris.
Paris, France.
Yep. And you stayed in Paris, France for how long?
Till I was 4.
Then you...
And then we migrated to Australia in 1971.
Correct.
First boat people.
Yay.
Yeah, I've got
Do you have
some-
any memories of that?
Yes, yeah. I actually remember being on the ship and seeing my first English-speaking cartoon, which was Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, fair dinkum.
And I remember the indoor swimming pool on the ship. Yeah.
It's funny because all I remember is people bums because I was about the height at one end, and I just that's how I was able to identify who I belonged
Mum?
to. Just mum, is that you? Anyway, that's where I met Julie. No, so the boat trip. How long did that take?
It took a month.
And we went via.
Canary Islands. I was going to say Cape Shank. No.
I can help you here, but I won't.
South Africa.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we docked.
We actually docked in Fremantle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were transported to Port Melbourne. And then from there, we stayed for a year at the migrant hostel in Springvale.
On Westall Road.
Yeah.
Which is now a retirement
Village.
Correct.
Yeah. Which is where you'll be heading pretty soon,
Very
yeah?
soon. my thumbprint on turning 51 in a retirement village. Quick question. When the parents decided to come to Australia, did they have options of other countries?
Not that I am aware of, no. They
Okay.
didn't even know where Australia was.
Yeah, so it was pretty brave.
Oh, it
They
was
had a bit
massive.
of paper that sort of said, come to Australia,
Yep.
there's plenty of work, this is
Yep.
what you can do, and they went, yeah, good.
Yep, so basically they, the Australian government were looking for manual labourers, and the scheme at the time was that the government would pay, I think, 3/4 of your travel over, and you had to commit to 2 years. If you returned prior to that, then you had to reimburse the Australian government. So they came over with 2 kids, 2 trunks, and not a word of English.
Correct. And we've heard that story before.
Yeah.
Running up and down the pier. Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Do you remember going to a kindergarten?
Yes.
I remember being left at a kindergarten, but that's another story. It's another episode.
Yep, I do. It was at the migrant hostel. I remember there were bunks. We used to have naps in the afternoon. It was the first time that I tasted peanut butter.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And realised you were allergic.
And I remember each bunk had like a little wooden, not a name tag, but it had a picture on it, and mine was a red telephone.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Ah.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Do you remember much about the hostel?
I remember leaving you
Let's not bring that up.
leaving you in the kindergarten there, or the daycare.
Yeah.
Because of course you would ask a 5-year-old to be responsible for a 1-year-old.
You could have been. Well, you proved you couldn't be responsible.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So from what I remember, everyone had got home and realised that I still wasn't home at the age of 1.
I remember a little differently.
Of course you did.
We'd gone
You're denying it.
We'd gone. So Mum was working in the like the cafeteria area there, and I had gone there to see Mum, and she was like, "Where's Frank?" And I was like, "Frank who?" Oh yeah, no.
The kid that lives in the apple crate.
That's the one.
The one that has got no childhood photos.
No photos. Yeah,
but I wasn't adopted.
You're adopted. It was now about time to tell you that.
That's time. Episode 3. Okay, so from there, moved to...
So from Westall, from Migrant Hostel, we moved to Fairbank Road in Westall, across the road from Westall High School. Geez, you're really pulling at my memory.
And who did we share that place with?
And so we had a place that looked like a house, but it was actually two like apartments that were connected via a wall, and we shared that with my very best buddy, Corrine.
Surprise! Come on through, of course.
And her family.
Correct.
Odette, Jacques, Kathy, Laurent, and Corrine.
Yes. Yeah, I remember those. I actually don't remember any of that, but I remember seeing photos of it. And
Okay.
It looked like we had a really good time. Were we there when they had the UFO sightings at that school? Because that's
Yes.
So we were living there at the time?
Yep.
Yeah, because I remember that UFO sighting was a massive thing at the time.
Yes, it was. Yep. Boy, you've done your research.
No, I just remember things really weird. And then from there we moved to...
We moved to Karen Court, Sandown.
Well done.
Don't know how long we were there for, but that's where we got our dog and our cat. So Bijou and Tarzan. And then
Visual being the dog.
Bijou being the dog and Tarzan being the cat that liked to climb trees. And from there we moved to Cranbourne West on the 13th of June 1976.
Well played.
Which is where Mum still lives.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, I remember the drive there. I remember it just being such a long drive because it was just all farmland. So where you drive through now, South Gippsland Highway, where you've got Hampton Park and Hallam and all that, that was just all farmland.
It certainly was.
And
I remember sitting in the back of the car looking at you and thinking,
we're dead. They're going to kill us. They're going to kill us.
Where are they taking us?
No, we had a scenario where we thought someone was going to kill us in the car.
We did.
We might cover that. Okay, so we've set up home in Cranbourne.
Yep.
On Sladen Street, Commission House.
Yes.
Parents absolutely loved it. They loved the whole garden. They loved the whole space.
Yep.
Which Mum still loves now. Primary school.
First primary school was Cranbourne North.
There's a rumour that you tried to get into another school and they'd accept you, but not me.
Was that St Jude's?
Correct.
Sorry, St Agatha's.
Correct.
Yeah. Well.
It might have been the Horns.
You know.
I had to wear a hat.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Two hats actually.
They said yes to you and no to me.
Yeah, so I didn't end up going there.
I don't know why.
I don't know why actually. Maybe they could foresee the future or something.
Very good judges. So you went to the primary school, Cranbourne North.
Cranbourne North.
And then something big happened in Cranbourne back in the day.
Yep. So then they built other schools, and we were zoned to go to Cranbourne West.
So the zoning was literally straight down. If you lived on this side of the road, you stayed at Cranbourne North. If you lived on that side, you went to Cranbourne West.
Yep. So you would have been about grade 2 or 3 there?
Grade 3. So do you remember what year that was? Because just trying to visualise Cranbourne in 1979. So there was nothing. It was all parkland.
I think it was 79.
Yeah. It was. I remember it just being paddocks, and we had to walk through paddocks to get to school. Where there was that green naked bloke.
And touch.
Okay, I didn't dream that up, did I? There was literally the green naked bloke that used to chase us. Okay, that might not have been.
Whoa!
I think I saw him later on in life.
I remember the Magpies, where Cranbourne Park Shopping Centre car park is now. Oh, sorry, that was going to high school, not primary school.
Let's stick to primary school.
Okay.
Best part of primary school that you remember?
I was elected Red House captain. and I was part of the first grade 6 class at that school.
So
Mrs. Simpson too.
Yes, the principal.
The principal.
Correct.
She was absolutely amazing. Scary as all crap.
Oh yeah.
But an amazing, amazing woman.
I still remember her.
She came to my first wedding. Yes, first.
And first of 9.
Yes.
School friends from primary school. Do you still keep in contact with anyone from primary school, or like via Facebook or
primary school? No.
no? So from then you went to high school, Cranbourne High.
Yep. So from Cranbourne West, then to Cranbourne High, where you didn't follow me.
Nope. There's no hope I was following you to that school.
Yeah.
A grade student. Not so.
Well, I had to work for it. You have natural intelligence. I have to work hard to achieve.
Do we have to bring yourself on though?
Yeah, hello.
Just go with the very good academically.
Okay.
Actually, keep going. So high school.
Yep, high school.
First impression of high school. Was it a big school? Was it scary?
Yeah, 1,100 students.
So you've gone from a primary school that you were basically the first grade 6.
Yep.
To a high school that's got 1,100 students.
Yep.
And the students are all walks of life from Cranbourne.
My first day at high school, I remember running around one of the quadrangles, running around a corner, and an older boy put his foot out, and I went skidding across the asphalt and thought, welcome to high school. It was horrible.
I've known you to do that without being tripped over.
True.
So I
This time I was tripped over though.
I don't think there's always a tripping thing. Anyway. So high school, good memories?
Not really.
No?
No, not. It wasn't a place that I liked being at all.
Did you make good friends at high school?
I did. I had very few friends, but yep.
You had great rapport with teachers though, didn't you? No,
Yes, yeah, I did.
You still keep in contact with a couple of them
I've
now?
actually recently lost touch with them. So there was Sue Clark,
Yeah.
who pretty much had me every year, but for a different language each year, and Margaret Roos, who taught me every year either geography, history, and then in my final year, she was my politics teacher.
So you can speak languages?
Barely. Well, I speak French.
Yes.
But I speak very little Indonesian and almost non-existent German.
So that was a waste of time.
Pretty much.
Out of those languages, excluding French, favourites?
Probably Indonesian.
Yeah. Okay. So you passed year 12, obviously?
I did.
HSC?
It was HSC at the time.
Good score?
For memory, I got 2 A's, 2 C's, and a D, I think.
That's very good. What were the 2 C's in?
Politics and legal studies.
And the D, maths?
English.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're not good at any language?
So I could very well have failed year 12 on that score alone.
From school, what happened?
From school, what did I do? I went... So I applied at uni to do social work.
Yep.
At Monash. I was accepted. I decided to take a year off. I travelled overseas, so I went back to France for 3.5 months. Spent a little bit of time in Spain while I was there. Amazing experience, despite the grandmother.
We've been blessed with a beautiful grandmother.
Yes.
Also known as a cow.
Yes.
Continue.
And when I came back, I looked into returning to study. Things had changed a little bit, so I decided, no, I'm not ready. I went and worked for Westpac.
Westpac.
Which in my time then became Bank of Melbourne. So I started off as a teller and then ended up training new tellers.
Before or after did you get married?
I got married while I was working at Westpac. I had to stop and think.
So you came back from Europe?
Yeah, sorry, came back from Europe, got engaged.
Yep.
At 19, got married at 20.
What took you so long?
And had my beautiful Tammy at 21.
Beautiful. And you've got a son?
Yes, I do. Brent, he's 27 now.
And where's he right now?
Right now, he is in Jordan.
Correct.
I was going to say Budapest. No.
On his honeymoon?
He is on his honeymoon. They're having an absolute ball by the looks of things.
So let's go back.
Yep.
Got married.
Mm-hmm.
You moved in. Place, where did you live?
Lock Street, 48 Lock Street, Cranbourne.
Excellent. Big backyard. Big enough for a caravan.
Huge backyard. Where I did have the privilege of having you live with us for a little while in the caravan.
The Gypsy King.
Yes, obviously left work to have Tammy. Didn't return to work for 10 years after that. So stayed home, raised both my children.
Great job.
Thank you.
Oh, you did a great job.
Yeah, I think they're pretty awesome.
They're excellent. And
as things happened, the marriage broke down after 11 years. And I took a year off to do nothing in that time, just to gather my thoughts and work out how to be a single mum, and then took myself back to school.
Perfect. So you moved Lock Street in Cranbourne?
Yep.
You moved to
we did.
a rental place?
No, from Lock Street we moved to Laurenton Court in Langwarrin.
Correct.
Where we bought a house there, which was a beautiful, beautiful home. And it was there the marriage broke up, So then I rented a place next to Mum.
Correct.
Which was the biggest dump ever, but
you turned it into a beautiful home.
It was a roof for me and the kids. It was livable.
I think you
did a great job. It was a rental, yeah. Then I got together with my ex-partner.
Okay.
And living in Baronia for a little while.
Yep.
Then bought a house in Cranbourne, Hargrave Court, which is where my son lives now, because Brent and his wife Beth have bought that house from me.
Perfect.
And yeah, we were there for many happy years. Then moved, so when Brent was 18, Tammy had moved to WA.
Yep.
She'd fallen in love in Melbourne, but he was from WA. Thanks, Alex. So she'd moved to WA. Brent was still at home. When he was 18, I moved in with my partner, bought a place in Narre Warren.
Travel before that? I know you travelled when you were younger, but that time from when you broke up to when you set yourself up again with your new partner, was there any travel there, or was it just...
No, it was after the partner and I got together that
Schooling?
we travelled.
Did you go back to school at any stage?
I did.
Where were you working?
I wasn't working while I was at school. So I did 2 years full-time Diploma of Community Services welfare stream. After my second placement at Frankston Council, I was fortunate enough to get a part-time position there. With having said that I was only going to be there 3 to 5 years maximum.
How'd that go?
13 years later, I ended up basically going from a student on placement to the coordinator of youth services for council.
And set up schemes and...
Set up 8 youth centres throughout the Frankston community, which to this day most are still running.
Programs as well? Like to help what?
So we did all sorts of programs in schools and outside of schools. I think one of the ones that there were 2 that I really enjoyed. One was teaching kids life skills. So a lot of our clients would either go home to an empty home at night or to parents that were substance affected.
Yep.
So it was teaching them how to make a basic meal out of staples that they might find in the fridge at home. taking them shopping, showing them where to buy veggies, what veggies are. I remember taking a group out one day and we had a shopping list, and I asked one of the boys, can you go and get some sausages? And he was gone for ages, walking up and down the aisles, and I'm like, sausages are in this bit here, the fridge bit. And he was like, oh, okay. So it was taking them back to basics. Yeah. I got a lot out of that because at the end of the year what we did is we'd put together a bit of a cookbook with all the recipes that the kids had cooked, and then they put on a Christmas lunch for their families. Perfect. Which they cooked and served and did everything else. So really proud of that one, and really proud of the Young and Proud, which was a support group for, back then it was only young, gay and lesbian, not LGBTIQ as it is now, or the alphabet. I was going to say, we've got to add more to that, surely. And that ran for 6 years, which was probably one of the longest running support groups of its kind at the time. What drew you to that, to helping the gay and lesbians? I came out initially when I was 18 in high school. Is that why you found high school tough? Well, that's why I found my final year tough. Okay, yep. I found school tough because there was a lot going on for me in my life that no one knew about. Yep. And I guess I was quite reserved and not out there. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah. So I came out at 18. Unfortunately, it was the mid-80s, and anyone old enough to remember the mid-80s will remember that all the Grim Reaper ads were out at the time, and basically anyone that was gay was frowned upon, was going to die, they were dirty, they were this. Bowled over by the Grim Reaper. So when you say you came out, was that openly, or you... I came out to a girl, Jackie, who I had a crush on, and she... Jackie, not my niece, sorry. That just got all fucking weird because you came out before she was born. I just saw some movement there. No wonder the wedding was small. Okay, focus. So you came out to a girl that you liked at high school? Yes. Which could have gone bad. Well, it did, because she told everyone else. And for someone who was so shy and nervous already, it was a horrible time. So I was convinced, that's okay. I don't need to do this. No, I'm not really gay. I'm okay. So you got married knowing you were gay, or thinking you were gay, or total denial. Okay, I'm past that. You know. Were you denying it to fit in, or you were denying it to yourself? To myself. Okay. Because it was painful, what I'd been through in high school at the time. Falls under the umbrella of bullying, which it shits me. Continue. Yeah. So I did tell my ex-husband about it, and, you know, he got to read my diaries and things like that. But I remember saying to him, but it's okay, I'm not gay. What was his response? Did he just go, okay, you're not gay, or did he just go, well, maybe you need to... No, I think we both brought a lot of baggage into our marriage. Yep. So I accepted his baggage, he accepted mine, I guess. Which is good in a way. Yeah. I think that's a kind of good support for the what it was. Yeah. So you've come out to a girl you like, Jackie. You've suppressed it. Mm-hmm. You then move on X amount of years and you say, no, not putting words in your mouth, you say to you, when did it become clear you were, and when did it become clear that you're sick of fighting it, I'm just going to live who I am? Early 30s. 1930s. Early. Oh, your 30s. Early 19. I nearly said the same. You bastard. Jesus, a horse and carriage going. You know what? Yeah. So. Hi, man. Still got it. Early 30s. In my early 30s. Okay, and what? Not triggered it. What awoken it? What made it? I can tell you exactly the moment that it happened. Okay. The moment that I went, can't do this anymore. Was it a gay light bulb? Yep, it was. It was multicoloured. So my 10-year high school reunion was coming up. Okay. And she was going to be there. And I rang her. Out of the blue, I thought, I wonder if she's still got the same number. lo and behold, she was back living at home with her parents. I invited her over. The minute I saw her walk past the lounge room window, my heart was like, I was like, what the hell is that all about? We got talking. I was very honest with her in how she pretty much destroyed my soul in high school.
Yep.
Only to find out, lo and behold, blah, 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 she had had a female partner in uni
So after that.
after that.
So obviously, okay. So she was gay, or did she think,
I think
she was
more
gay?
bi.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I
So her
think
reaction to you would have been what? When?
Probably more about, like, I don't know, her not being ready to face that side of
Okay,
herself,
yeah.
and then having someone kind of go, hey, you know,
Okay.
how about it?
Or maybe maybe the fact that, and I'm not sticking up for her at all, maybe she reacted that way to see how other people would react to you.
Quite possibly.
And if they were cool, she may have been, who knows? I mean, we're
Yeah.
18 years old, we've got no idea how you'd react. So you go to this 10-year reunion?
Yep, she didn't go, but we stayed in contact.
Oh,
And
okay.
she became my first female partner.
Oh, okay.
So it took me 10 years, but I got the girl in the end.
Kids, hard work persist.
Yeah, look, it didn't last very long, but it completely reaffirmed for me that this is who I am and what I am most comfortable with.
Amen. Now, any contact with her at the moment? No. Okay,
No.
cool. So we've skipped that. So you're now comfortable as, and that's why a lot of your work is directed towards kids that are going through that.
Yeah. So, yes, the reason I started, well, I didn't start Young and Proud, Yap. I came into it and grew it.
Yep.
And that was because I could empathise with the kids and what they were going through, could support them with coming out to family and friends, and, you know, it wasn't just talk. I understood what that felt like.
So you're doing all this as a single mum?
Yep.
So you're still going through school? So you
No,
part-time
I'd
school?
finished school.
Okay.
I'd graduated. So
Yep.
52 of us, I think, started the course. 12 of us graduated.
You're then working at the Frankston Council?
Yep.
You're setting up these programs for kids that are in need?
Yep.
As a single mum?
I did have a partner, but we didn't live together. So yes, I was doing it pretty much completely on my own.
I think it's unbelievable. Round of applause for everyone.
Thanks.
The audience is going crazy. We'd like to thank our major sponsor too, who we don't have yet, but we'll take one. So you're now at the council, you've set yourself up.
Yep.
You're helping as many people as you can. Is it draining? Is it a job that's just constantly, yeah?
It's a job that if you don't know how to look after your mental health first, you will burn out. And I did see a lot of youth workers burn out in my time. Probably, I was reflecting on this the other day with the horrible fires that are going through Victoria at the moment. I was fortunate to be able to take a crew of youth workers up to Key Lake when Black Saturday hit.
Yeah.
We were there for a week, probably a week after the fires had raged through that community. We had a big mobile youth centre, so we took that up there. We linked up with the band The Living End.
Yep.
They came and did a big community concert. We set up skate parks and whatnot for the kids there. And basically we looked after the kids while the parents went to, they had a tent set up that had like the banks and house insurance and, you know, everything the parents needed to try and organise. And we were very fortunate to have been welcomed by that community. It was by far the best youth work I've ever done, but also the toughest.
Yeah.
Heard some really, really, really sad stories, you know, riding the bus to school with the kids. But a year later, we were the only service to be invited back
Oh, perfect.
for the commemorative, the 1 year anniversary, and I shuttled people to to and from the services.
Perfect. That's a big plus.
It's pretty cool.
You, at what stage did you decide that that's it, I've had enough at the council, I need to do something else for myself?
Yeah.
Because I could assume after 15 years of your 3-year plan, you may have been a little bit burnt out.
I was burnt out by the politics.
Okay.
So I got into youth work to work with kids.
Yeah.
And to be there with them, not to be dragged into politics. So I'm not going to go into the political side. So after 5 years as the youth services coordinator, I left a very, very well paid job to basically work casually in youth residential homes. And I did that for 18 months, and that was so tough.
You got paid to get spat on and attacked.
It was so tough.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back into working with youth. Couldn't have picked a tougher gig to do it with. So after doing that for 18 months, I thought, okay, my whole life, I really thought my career would begin and end with youth. But my whole career, I'd been talking about earlier intervention.
Okay.
So I thought, how do I do this? I thought, all right, talk the talk, walk the walk now. So I applied for a job as a student wellbeing coordinator in a primary school.
So for a layman's terms, when you say early intervention, you want to get to the child
as early as possible.
Okay.
So
primary school would be ideal.
Kinder is probably more ideal.
Okay, yep.
So with youth, I was working with 12 to 24-year-olds, although I did manage to drop that age to 10. With this, I'm working with 5-year-olds up. And sometimes younger, because I do go and do a little bit of consulting and work in the kinders before the students come to us, so that I've really got my head around how we're going to support students better.
So this is your work life,
Mm-hmm.
your personal life. What are the kids doing? What's happening? Are you travelling?
Okay, so I'm single. Yay!
Now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I've been single two and a half years.
So back to before you started at the school.
Yep.
What were your kids doing?
So Brent is an electrician.
Yep.
And Tammy is a high school teacher.
Not bad for a single mum.
Yeah.
Done well.
So she'll be teaching maths and science next year.
Yep.
And she's been teaching pretty much science.
And Brent's an electrician.
He's the bright spark.
Way.
Boom, boom.
And what's his future look like?
Well, funny you should ask that. So I am rapt to say that my son has agreed and he's looking forward to and wants to be working in the family business with you and Luke and Ducky.
Yeah. Round of applause. So that's excellent. So now you've decided you want to walk the walk, talk the talk.
Mm-hmm.
You find a job at the school.
Yes.
Explain the environment that you work.
Okay, so I work in Frankston North, which can be quite a challenging community, but always one that even when I did youth work, I thought it's Frankston North that I want to be working in. So, you know, we have a lot of families that struggle with various different things. We have a lot of single dads bringing their kids up. We have a lot of grandparents bringing their grandchildren up. Like a lot of communities, we have probably I can't even say it.
This is why you got a D in English. Just
okay. We've got a higher amount of
disproportion.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Of families that use and abuse substances.
Okay.
And domestic violence is also extremely high.
It's an environment that you love.
I love it.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, but from what I can see outside looking in, the group of people that work there, they've all got the same goal.
Amazing.
Led by
Kathy Arnold, who is our principal. She has completely turned that place around.
So you see yourself there long term?
3 years? No.
15
I'm
years
coming up to my 5th year there.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate enough to be invited to a Women in Leadership in Education dinners and forums that I've been attending the last year, and it got me thinking about what's my next career path.
Aircon?
Sorry?
Aircon?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Another one.
I'm becoming a Sparky. I told you. So talking to Kathy, there is the possible potential to go for an assistant principal role as a para-professional.
All right. So that's pretty much where you're at today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just go back.
Yeah.
Best childhood memory. So what would you sit there and go, I remember this?
Yeah. Swan Hill.
Yeah. Okay.
So picking grapes and
Tearing down a whole line
running through the vines. That was you.
Okay, this is where the story just goes.
That
nuts.
was you.
That was you that put it there.
That was you. That was you.
That was you. I've seen you drive. Anyway, so Swan Hill, what happened there? We used to go there school holidays?
So we used to go there.
That was you.
That was so you.
Ready to beat this.
Shut up.
Go, I'm listening.
So we didn't have extended family here.
Yep.
And these were an elderly couple, Nanny Claire, Tonton Pod. And I guess they adopted us as grandkids. So we'd go to Swan Hill.
Naya
Like I
West.
said, Naya West, yeah.
Correct.
Pick grapes.
Basically work on the farm for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was awesome fun.
Now
Go and swim in the river and
Do all safe stuff.
yeah, of course.
Shoot guns.
Yes, we
Shoot.
did. You used to have to go to the dunny outside in the thunderbox.
Now, I remember as a kid, when Nanny Clara used to cook, that smell, and it was like a smell that as soon as you smell it, so if I smell that smell now, it takes me straight.
Yeah.
Do you have a smell, excluding the Swan Hill stuff, that takes you back to some childhood memory? It's a weird question,
Yeah.
but...
No, I think, you know how the family used to make pâtés and things like that? I think, and I can't pick the smell, but it's that charcuterie smell that kind of brings me back to that time.
Yeah. What would be 2 things that you would tell yourself to do to make your future life a lot smoother and easier?
Believe in yourself. It feels like you're not going to get there at the moment, but you will.
Yep.
And you'll come out stronger for it. Continue to be true to yourself. And that, for me, is about being who I am and being kind to people, looking out for people, having people's backs.
Yep. Being loyal.
Yep.
I think that's an important thing.
Which I haven't, always been great at. So learning that as you go along is great.
Drink the vodka. All right. Have you got anything you'd like to say? No, I'm joking. I'm joking, unless you want to say how good I am. No. Would you have preferred a bigger family or just the two of us?
Just the two of us. What I would have liked is to have contact with the extended family. So I would have loved cousins and aunts and uncles, good grandparents.
Yeah, that's cool.
That I always missed. Yep. Always missed that growing up.
Do you think that makes you appreciate friends more?
Good friends, true friends, like someone like Corrine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are like family.
Well, yeah, and that's a choice. Your family you don't get to choose, but your good friends you can. You can
sorry
choose.
About that.
Yeah, mate. Hello. Talk about grandparents. Oh, that's cool. That's What would you change? So, would you have gotten into the early learning a lot earlier, or you just say?
Ideally, at first I thought, but I think I like the fact that I've gone through what I have gone through because it helps me understand childhood development even better.
Yep.
And I guess for when our students get to grade 6, they're coming into that age group that I've worked with. I can talk to them with confidence about some of the things that they're going to face, and you know, they'll get through it.
Yeah,
and these are the supports out there, because there are, particularly in Frankston, there are amazing supports for 12 and up. Not so much under 12, but 12 and up.
Do you give yourself enough credit for what you've done?
I have no idea. I'm proud of what I've done.
Okay, so you give yourself credit for what you've done. I think that's good. I think that's a very important thing, because if you take the step back, so even if you watch this and see everything you've achieved in your 63 years on Earth, let's cut that. 65. It's a 5-year plan that went 15 years. You need to be proud of what you've done, and you need to realise that. Well, I see you as very loyal, and I see you as somebody that's very giving. I mean, if you look back at all the work you've done, it's all about giving. You know, giving money at the bank. No, but it's all about giving. You know, so and that's very important to have a dream and follow it. And you've done it as a single mother. You've done it, you know, as a couple, whatever. But at the end, you're the main thing that's made things happen. And I think you need to give yourself credit.
Thank you. I haven't done it alone. That's the other thing, is that no one ever stands alone.
Correct.
So I've been extremely fortunate to have, you know, such a beautiful, supportive family, some really beautiful friends. And I'm not just saying this because you're here and now, but
hang on, we need to put this on echo, so that sounds good.
I've always said to people, you are the greatest father I've ever met. And you're the greatest brother I've ever had.
Well, you're the second greatest sister I've
sister.
ever met. No, that's good. No, but it's...
Oh, funny story.
No, well, it's irrelevant.
When?
No.
When? Okay, I've got to tell this story.
This is stupid.
So I found out that I was pregnant with Tammy, and she was not planned, and I had been sick with the flu prior, and I had come home, and you were home with the parents, and normally you would give me a kiss hello, and at this point I found out that I was definitely pregnant. And normally I walked in and you'd give me a kiss hello, and you didn't kiss me, and I said, oh, aren't you going to kiss me today? And you said, oh, I don't want to catch what you've got. And I said to you, I said, there's no way you're going to catch what I've got. And it clicked. You went, oh my God, you're pregnant. I remember you jumping up and down on the couch.
Before Tom Cruise did it.
Going, I'm going to be an uncle, I'm going to be an uncle.
Oh,
and then I said to you,
such a cow. Seriously, I'm the star of the show. Why would you do this to me?
Unless I have a daughter. And then you were like, am I going to be an auntie? And I was like, yes. And you were 18.
No.
And you were 18 because I was 21.
I may have been drunk.
And you seriously thought that you were going to be an auntie. I had a kill.
I worked it
Am I
out when I was
lying?
35. Anyway, thanks for that. That could be true. But I was jumping up and down on the couch before Tom Cruise.
You were.
All right. I think that's pretty much it. Did you want to talk about anything else?
I just want to say thank you for supporting me and pushing me to do things that I never thought I would do, like our trip that we've just recently done.
And we're going to do more.
The Komodo Islands was amazing, and I really can't think of anyone else I would rather have done that with. Oh. So I just want to say thank you, and I love you.
I love you too, even though you brought up that stupid thing. Questions that we organised prior.
Oh, God.
Are you an early person or a late person?
Early.
So do you turn up early or late?
Early. Except today.
Debatable.
Sorry.
What do you hope never changes?
The love that I feel from my family.
Good answer. What job would you be terrible at?
Maths teacher. Or a navigator.
Yeah, no shit. What are you absolutely determined to do? So you just go, on my deathbed I can say...
Live a full and happy life.
What makes you happy?
My family.
Yeah. So when you say full life, you're going to jam-pack life or just...
Experiences.
Okay, good.
Because I can have 1,000 things, but they won't necessarily have an impact on my life.
Yep.
Like what we did, those 10 days
Yep.
of kayaking, that has had a profound effect on me because it's given me faith in myself. I've got my faith back.
Yeah.
Like, I did this. I didn't think I could do it.
It's had a big effect on me. I still can't move my fucking shoulders. Cooked. What skill would you love to master?
I forgot what I wrote.
Woodworking.
Woodwork, yes.
That's bizarre.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
bizarre. It's just I never knew that.
The more that I'm having to do things on my own, the more I'm going, man, I wish I knew how to do this well. I'd love to be able to get a piece of timber and make something.
Try it.
So, I've actually thought of joining the men's shed because they have a women's group
Do
that
it.
does woodworking there.
Amen. What takes up too much of your time?
Cleaning up after my puppy.
Okay. Yes.
Good luck.
I've got a question. No, this isn't written down. How different would Australia be if there was no age to vote? So everyone in Australia could vote. Do you think it'd be more chaotic?
Compulsory vote? Or
Everyone from the age of wah me to 120 can vote.
I think it would be more representative of who we are as a nation.
Correct. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, imagine if there was no cap. So you could vote at 15.
Yeah.
And you would be voting for things that mean something to you at 15.
Yeah.
As opposed to having our representatives go to, I don't know, places that have been devastated by fire, and you're watching this guy and he's got absolutely no empathy, he's got no rapport with the people he's trying to shake hands with.
I wouldn't make it compulsory though, because I would want the voice of the people that really want a voice.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's the best way to start the day for you?
Sitting outside, cuddles with the puppies, and then just sitting outside.
Just chilling?
Yep. Just looking at the birds, the trees.
Very me. What's the most this will keep Jackie happy. What's the most annoying habit that other people do?
Chewing with their mouths open.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's start a forum. That's got to be illegal. What's the most annoying question people ask you?
Which one did I write down? Because there's a couple of them.
How hard was it to work?
How hard is it to work in Frankston North?
What is that? Oh, because of where it is.
Yeah. So there's already an assumption that people that live there are worse than other people.
Yeah.
And they're not.
No.
They're probably the tightest community I've ever come across.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, they stick with each other. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
You didn't ask me the one thing that I would unlearn.
Oh, yeah. Where is that? What's the one thing you would unlearn?
That damn Baby Shark song.
That's it. That's done. Thanks for coming and
You're welcome.
being interviewed on my podcast, which is called My Thumbprint on Turning 50.
I love the name, by the way.
Thank my kids because of my thumb head. Just if anybody needs to contact some of the resources you were talking about, who could they?
Depending on what it was, but Lifeline is always a great start. They're 24 hours, 7 days a week. Kids Helpline, also they have, they've always got someone on there that can talk live or via computer to kids. If you needing help with mental health or support for LGBTIQ, I would look at Headspace. They are a great resource. Depends really what you're looking for. There's a lot of different drug and alcohol services out there. There's housing services if young people are finding themselves homeless. I would look at a place called Ways for young women in particular that are living through domestic violence. And your local council is always a fantastic resource to be able to link you into different local services.
Perfect. Well done.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
3, 2, 1. Those other 20 people we couldn't get for the interview?
No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So sorry.
Is that too much?
That just. Dad, come on.
Hate my job.
This memory card's about to die.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Sorry.
Fucking hell.